Hey, how you doing? This is George. Excuse me. I'm currently in my residence in Portugal, and this is my temporary residence because this is where my family would go when they come to the country every so often. This residence, by the way, is actually um, we're actually living with my cousin, whose refrigerator is the silver-looking one right there. Okay, she's been there for 2 years, and it's a long story how she got there, and there's two different fridges. The white one here is what we use, and the other silver one is what my cousin uses. So she understands that this is a primary residence for mom, dad, sister, niece, brother-in-law, whomever, as well as myself. So anyhow, um, just to let you know, for anyone who's thinking of going to Portugal, there's three areas of the country you can actually have a commercial flights land in. Lisbon, the country capital, Faro, which is the southernmost point of the country, close to Algarve, and also Port, which is also close to the north of the country. So there's three airports in the entire country, and the number one for people that leave from Toronto will actually go to Lisbon. I've never been to Faro or Porto. I'm sure one day I will do it. Anyhow, the flight from Toronto to Lisbon is anywhere from close to 6 or over 6 hours long. Be thankful if your flight has in flight entertainment because they will have the navigational information you need to survive the flight. I'll give an example. The information on the flight going here to Portugal stated how cold it is outside of the airplane fuselage. That's one. How high you really are in meters and feet. That's two. How long it's going to take you to get your destination, that's three, and many other information I don't recall right now, but you get the picture. Um, and keep in mind that when you're in Portugal, it's part of Europe, so it's going to be the euro. And be careful if you're going to if you're going to convert Canadian dollars to euro because it's pretty expensive though. The last I checked, it was $1.50 Canadian per euro. Watch the fluctuations. They can fluctuate every hour, every day. Use your own discretion when getting the cash from Canada over to Europe. Doesn't matter where you go. Um, Airport in Lisbon has not changed an iota since I was last there last year, if not 28 years prior. You're going to find out that it's going to be written in English and other languages because a lot of foreigners call Portugal home. So keep that in mind. Now, if you are a European citizen like me, you can actually go through the EU line and you're out of there super quick. Anyhow, the temperature right now, I'm looking at my little weather thing as of 2:21 p.m. is 23 degrees, but it feels a hell of a lot hotter out there. I was there this morning going to pay respects to my relatives about 45 minutes away at my dad's home country. If you've read my latest update, you know what I mean. And the weather feels a lot hotter because you're closer to the ocean, so it magnifies the heat by 1.5 times. Now, I know back home in Toronto, a lot of you guys are pretty much dying from the heat, and it's like over 40 degrees with the humidex, if not without humidex. You guys are lucky because here in Portugal, you don't have the luxury of AC unless it's in your hotel or you know someone who lives there and has the luxury of AC. Okay. Another thing, mosquitoes, flies, there's plenty. And don't say I didn't warn you. You've noticed my face changed because I'm not exaggerating. Um, you have to understand that even if you're barbecuing outside, and I learned this last year, you're going to have a shitload of mosquitoes and flies all over it because they love the moisture and the heat of it. So keep that in mind. If that's the case, the scenario I just painted you, get some DEET from home, aka mosquito repellent. You're gonna need a shitload of it. Don't say I didn't warn you. Also, the driving here is way different from back home, and I'll tell you why. Number one, it's all standard manual. In other words, you got to move the stick, which is right near your steering wheel, and it has six different things. It's kind of like what the truck drivers back in Canada do. I believe it's that way. I could be wrong. You got one, two, three, four, five, six, and R. And there's three pedals right on the floor for you to easily change the gears. Now, if you ask me to drive the car, we're all going to die. That's how bad my driving is. And that's how bad my feet location is because you need 2 feet to drive the car, not one back in Toronto, just so you know. Anyhow, another thing you should know, food is relatively cheap here, and the standard of living is anywhere from cheap, basic, but not too high standards as back in Canada. Reason being is a lot of people like to have a laid back lifestyle. You're going to see the roofs in Portugal all with ceramic tiling, which is curvy and traditional for probably the past 100 years. Now, the roof of my home is a good example of that, just so you know. And that has yet to be cleaned because for over 5 decades, that bloody thing has been endured over 50 different seasons. It doesn't snow here in Portugal, but unless you go to Serra da Estrela, that's another story. The winters here are mild, but they have severe showers and thunderstorms near the end of the year. So unless you're in Serra da Estrela, that's another story. But but I can tell you for a fact that snow did fall on College Reunion. At one point, my cousin told me a story last year. I'll never forget it. Snow fell, everybody loved it until the accidents and people started to slip and fall. That's a one off, and that never happened again. So that's in the just so you know category. Overall, my time here, persistent sun all the time, pretty cool nights, not cold, but cool. So get some long sleeve shirts and pants if you intend to take up the nightlife down here. The people are warm and friendly. You'll never forget them. They're kind of like family when they get to know you. Um, Depending on the region you are in Portugal, there is not a festival. There's a festival virtually every day in a different region of the country, and they got more holidays than probably any other time in the world. When I was here for the past, I think it was like 3 days ago, they called it the Corpus Christi holiday, which is the body of Christ or something. You would have seen the churches; they were packed. I was passing by College Reunion, which is the hometown I'm in right now, and it was filled to the gills with people just taking in the mass to celebrate that. But other than that, it's kind of like Canada, but watered down a bit. And one other thing, if you expect luxurious hot water coming out of the taps here in Portugal, you're gravely mistaken. I'll tell you why. Because they're under propane tanks, and you have to go to a specific area to get them. They're about 12 euros a piece. They're connected to the wiring in my home. And if you're going to take a shower, make sure it's no more than 5 minutes because you will be screaming your ass off because the cold water kicks in. So I think it's because the technology in my home is not as advanced as back home, but electricity is pretty expensive here. Lots of things are pretty expensive. They're more like a luxury than anything else. So keep all this in mind. Griff, you, my brother from another mother, from originally from Ghana. You know who you are. Um, I'm doing this for you and your friends, so share this with your friends. And if anybody wants to have any inside information on how it feels like to be here on a vacation or whatnot, now you know. You can give me all the props and everything you need to make your stay here in Portugal very good. And if I were you, give yourself a week the first time. The second time you come here, give yourself more than a week because Lisbon, you have a lot of things to see. Everything from Torre de Belém, which is currently under construction. Damn. Padrão de Descobrimento, which is the Discovery plaque. I've been there last year. You can actually go to the very top of it and you can see most of Lisbon from there. I did a 360-degree video that I shot last year, and I believe I put it on my computer onto Facebook. I could be wrong, but anyhow, um, I'll be back next week, midweek. So I'm practically here for about 17, 18 days. I'm on my ninth day. So I'm taking advantage of everything that I can. Other than that, I'm signing off here and hopefully I'll do a video soon enough, if not when I'm back in Toronto. Anyhow, I love you guys. Stay safe, stay cool. Love you.